What's up, YouTube? What's up, Xtreme Gainz family? I'm Chuck. This is Xtreme Gainz. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take it as such. Today is Thursday, January 13th, 2022, and this is the Amc Algo Exposed Daily Update video. Before we dig in, thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for all the kind words, all the gestures today, all the words of encouragement from the unexpected phone call I got in the middle of the live stream advising me, from my brother telling me that our uncle had passed away unexpectedly at a very young age. I appreciate that, you guys. It was felt very deep and it was very heartwarming, and I'm super grateful for the community in which is becoming of the daily chat, live chat that's during the live streams, the Discord, just all of it. You guys are unbelievable. It warms my heart. I'm so proud to be a part of this, and just thank you from the bottom of my heart. With that said, I want to go ahead and dig in. And by the way, I'm still getting your messages and that. If I continue to get them, I read them, I promise. If I decide I need, and I thank you for your concern, if I decide that I need to step away for a day or two or whatever, I will do that. I promise. I will take the time if needed, and I will let you know about it prior to doing it if need be. And if I do need anything, I will reach out to you, ones that have said, reach out if you need anything. So you have my word. But I'll be all right, okay? Thank you guys again. Now, let's dig in, please. I like to keep it moving. Okay, AMC. On your left, intraday movement. Box tops were a little bit hard to find today, right out of the gate. And then I zeroed in on it and pretty much had them pinned the entire rest of the day. I think this very first top I had, was unsure about this bottom here, this W here, whether or not it was actually a W and into a new box top, or to look at it as one. I ended up looking at it as two, and it worked out the rest of the day. Laid them in there perfectly ahead of time, in real time, everything. So that was awesome. Finally got back on track with that. I believe it's because we saw the volume get inserted back into the algo to the downside, right? We talked about this all last week, all this week, where I was saying about it being compressed. Those of you that have been applying this, you've been feeling and seeing that as well. The compression of these movements, clear down to the micro time frames, almost impossible to find those second. The first is always found, but the second and the third to pull out, almost impossible to find them. Today, not so much for that reason, right? Same thing that happened last Thursday evening when we had the blow up versus this push down, right? Volume got inserted. You can see the moves. Makes sense, right? Okay, so that worked out today on the micro time frame. And the macro, dudes and dudettes, we are literally, 53? We were 3 cents. 3 cents away from the confluence hit. Direct, like on point direct. 3 cents away. 2053. I've been calling 2025 to 2050 since I started doing this. I've been talking about the confluence of support in this fractal since I started doing this. You guys were giving props and everything and couldn't believe it. And I'm going to show you again. We're going to pull these two fractals now. I've had two macro fractals. It was exciting today. I only brought that up. That's fine, whatever. You guys do enough of that for me. But in the live chat and in the comments and in video, everything. You guys are awesome. Great support system. I'm telling you, unbelievable. But I've been showing these two fractals, these two macro fractals as comparative fractals since I started doing this. Because, again, they're part of one giant theory with the snake algo, right? However, these come from two different scenarios within that, right? Or locations within that entire macro theory, okay? This one here is from the two fractals before. This descending one, two descending wedges back from the white one in the mid-range that we're in right now. And this is part of the Big Brother, Little Brother time-blocked videos that I've put out. Okay, it came from that. And that's how I kind of caught into this and started looking at this. Let me put that there. Whoop. And let you see that, right? So in both of these fractals, the reason the confluence has been a point of interest has for two reasons, right? Both of these fractals show a confluence hit, and the megaphone structure that houses this, we had that confluence hit back in December of 2020 prior to the January parabolic, which I'm going to show you that fractal. That's the second macro fractal that we use here to apply to this mid-sized descending wedge fractal here. So that's why I've been using that and talking about that for this long, okay? So let me line that up. So here we go. This is this one, right? From 2 ago. And we've been updating this. I've been updating this daily for you guys to show you, just so we can stay with it. All right, here we are. Direct hit. All right, I guess I can move that like right there. All right, here's the wick down into this area. We didn't get the full push down here, but we did get the indication of that move with the wick down. Here we are with this direct hit on the confluence, right? Whether or not it pushes down, breaks through, we'll wait to see. But either way, even if it does push down through it and breaks down, even down to the macro descending wedge that we're in, this one here shows a bounce up out, right? To the resistance. To the resistance of the mid-size descending wedge, right? And then a rejection, retest, then confirmation, retest, and then, push up out of the macro descending wedge, okay? We've been tracking that. You can see it's still on the table. The second fractal is, like I said, the December 2020 double bottom fractal, the double-double, right? It's the same as this one. Both of them are double-doubles. Both of them have confluence hits, which is why I kept talking about this, right? This one here has the yep, good enough. This one here does not break down in this scenario, and this is the parabolic going up into January of 2021. So this is like I said, the December 20th. See this, right? This was the double-double, same thing, double-double inside of a double. Here's the direct hit, right, that we got today, direct hit. This one here, there's no question as to what the next move is. So I think we're probably going to know which one of these is invalidating itself tomorrow, right? Potentially. We'll look at it tomorrow, but potentially, right? Because the other one shows a potential move up before, or I'm sorry, the other one shows a breakdown of the confluence, right? A direct breakdown of the confluence, potentially down in here prior to a move up. This one here shows an absolute bounce and move up and parabolic. Literally tomorrow, according to this. So that's what I'm watching for when it comes to the macro comparative, historical comparative fractals. Okay? All right. And how cool was that? How exciting was that to watch this confluence play out today? Once again, man, I just want to compliment the community because here it was, down 9% again. You would have swore in that live stream today that we were ripping 30, 40, 50%. I know a couple of them that BBIG ripped again today. I believe, yeah, well, oh, BBBY did. Bed Bath & Beyond ripped today as well. BBIG has been another call out, another macro algo ID that I had made and put out when I first started this channel. I know some of you went and watched the video because you guys were commenting on it from back when I did a BBIG video. It didn't get very many hits back then, so I stopped doing them. But we've been talking about it relentlessly in the live streams because the majority of the same crowd and the same community are in the BBIG play as well. So that's something we've been talking about. It's been a spot on again. And again today, you guys absolutely killed it. You guys killed it yesterday. Thank you for letting me post some of those, some of your words on my Twitter, on the Xtreme Gainz Twitter, that you spoke and put into the live chat yesterday when it came to the call out and the BBIG Algo ID and everything that you guys have done. And you guys have done it. You deserve it. Congratulations once again. And you guys did it again today. I think today may have even been bigger than yesterday, which is just fantastic to see. Man, makes me happy when you guys, anybody at all, even my enemies, right? I want, you guys know me. I want everybody to win, right? We're all human beings. I want everybody to win. That is what I'm doing here. So even the ones that try to shit on me, I want everybody to win. So, okay, those are the macros. Now, I want to go to the 10 minutes in. This is the micro to macro we've been looking at, right? That I've been showing you, again, over and over and over again. If you come over here, remember me saying yesterday, I wasn't sure, were we here or were we already down here, right? We had this boxed off bottom. I was thinking maybe I had messed up by thinking and saying that we were here. Maybe we were here and the parabolic was coming next. Well, I kept the line in here, right? I had the green one in over here in case we blew out of here, and I showed you this yesterday. Brought it up in the morning, showed it on the video last night. Well, obviously, the parabolic didn't happen. Come on. And look what ended up happening, right? What I had originally had it mapped out to do was it moved to the downside here. I said about its volatility to the downside, how it's been increasingly getting more and more volatile as time has wore on with this play. I've watched it since literally December of last year when I watched it. I've been in it since January. So I've seen it progressively get loaded more to the downside, obviously, than the upside, minus the 2 blow-ups that we've had. However, that did happen. Now, this is not exact. This is not candle for candle, right? But an idea of what was coming. It's led all this way. Look at it. I mean, it has literally led all of this way and has not been wrong yet. So I want to keep taking it into consideration, keep presenting it on the update videos and in the live stream so we can keep our eye on it to keep track of that. Again, you guys know about the block time frames that I've talked about in the Big Brother, Little Brother video about the algo, and when I've been dissecting it piece by piece, macro, mid, and micro, and how it's all kind of working together. Now, again, I haven't put that all together for one video, which I really want to do before, especially before this thing blows off. I'm trying really hard to do it. Obviously, now I've been hit with this family thing, and so I'll do what I can. But until then, I'm at least going to keep piecing this together for you as I get to it. Okay, excuse me. So that's the micro to macro. Still looking good, still on the table by my standards. Keep my eye on it. We'll keep our eye on it in the live stream and go from there. Now, I want to talk about a couple things here. Let me go back to here. Where am I at? 13 minutes. I got a few minutes. I want to bring up the SPY, and I know this is an AMC video, but I want to go back to I don't want you to think about the single bottom scenario, right? We invalidated it, or it invalidated itself, and we took that off the table, or I took that off the table as something that I was looking at that time when it did invalidate itself. But what I want to do is I want to bring back that mindset, right? That whole idea of how that market-wide or broader market movement affected Dollar Tree back in 08, 09, where they were in relation to each other at that time, not only prior to the correction, but prior to the crash, right? And then during it, right? But I also want you to, think about when I did present that as a potential theory and scenario, and I showed how Dollar Tree, where its location was, but how it reacted, right? And where the market was. And here's the thing. I don't think I want to give up on the theory, right? Obviously the single bottom right here, right? Inverted head and shoulders. It didn't close off the shoulder and take off to validate that, so it was invalidated. So obviously the technical side of that to the Dollar Tree 08, 07, 08, 09 are invalid, right? However, I think the sentiment I think market conditions and I think location, being down here in the trenches, are all still relevant, especially when you look at this. And this is, once again, you all that know this know this. The blue lines are the 07, 08. I think it's just 08, 09, but it's like 07, 08, and then 09. SPY market moves from back then, prior to and during the crash. Now, this does not show how far down it goes. I just want you to have an idea of what we're looking like up here while we're getting frothy up at the top. I laid this in here on SPY at the beginning of the second week of December. I think December 6th or 7th, somewhere in there. I laid this in here. Also, what I want to make very, very clear, I have no conviction on where this is sitting as far as a date. But look at the date, February 21st. Look at where we're at, right? I laid this in here, and this is where it was originally laid, and it has not. Or it had. I'm sorry. It has not diverted from it. Let's put it that way, so I don't have to correct myself. Right? It's still following it. Again, not perfect, not to the T, pretty damn close. Now, I don't know if this is all going to need to move to the left, or it needs to stay where it's at, or if it even needs to go to the right. Okay? What was brought to my attention, however, is that it could potentially need to go to the right. And if this were to turn back around, and I thought today was going to be kind of the telling day for this, whether or not it continued to the upside to potential all-time highs, it would have replicated the move of all of this column right, those transpose movements. However, it didn't do that. It did the opposite, right? Which in turn, as you can see, is forming this W potentially. Not as down here as deep as it is, as I have it drawn in here, but nonetheless, the general perspective of it is right there, okay? This is the correction territory in 08, I think in 08, correction. Then, and at the time, Dollar Tree was in the trenches like AMC is now after like a 50% correction prior to all this happening with the broader market. And then when this made this move, Dollar Tree started moving up out, right, which is almost where we're sitting right now. So if this were to happen, maybe after a little more downside, then it happens, we would start moving up out and get the bounce out of the confluence or just sub confluence on the macro descending wedge up out, right? Followed by a rejection of the mid descending wedge on AMC, pull back, followed by a move up out of the mid descending wedge to the macro descending wedge, and then boom, right? Crash, long-term negative beta, and we keep rolling to the upside. Just like Dollar Tree did in this scenario in 08 and 09. Just want to throw that out there. Just want you to know where my mind is at and things that I'm looking at. I always say that. I let the charts talk to me. I let them show me what's going on. I don't inject my own thoughts and feelings into this. Chuck, how do you feel about this? What do you think about this? I just let the charts do it for me, and I try to read them. That is all I'm doing here. Again, letting you see this through my eyes and through my mind. Okay? I want to keep that in mind. Now, what happens? We're at 20 minutes. Almost done. Almost done. Almost done. The only thing I have not presented is a downside scenario. Right? The only thing I've said is if this breaks and comes down in here, then I'll start thinking about that. What I want to show you is where I've been with this, what I have found. I'm not going to go into great detail, but I want to show you a fractal that I was led to that depicts this and a potential move to the downside, not to scare anybody, not to cause FUD, not to cause anything other than to have a realistic perspective and to keep things in your mind just in case. This is actually the GME chart from July 2019. Okay. Hold on. Right there is what I wanted you to see. That fractal right there. Right? And I want you to see the whole thing. And then I want you to go look at your GME chart after this move to the downside, right? And see what happens after this. Because what I don't want you to do is be in any way, shape, or form scared or afraid or anything. You should never feel like that anyways, right? If you're feeling like that, you need to reevaluate, in my opinion. Just an opinion. But anyways, there's a hell of a nice strong move up after this. This is where GME bottomed. Go check that out, right? It's what I'm looking at as a potential fractal to gauge downside if this were, and only if this were to break the confluence, break the macro descending yellow wedge that we've been in for the last 7, almost 8 months, and then were to come down to the gap fill area, which I lost my box somehow, the gap fill area, and it were not to act as a spring or as a blow up point, a rebound, or I'm sorry, a bounce, right? If all 3 of those were to fail and this thing were to go sub 16, sub 17, sub $16, that is when I would be pulling all of these out. But I wanted you to see, just so you can have something in your mind from a realistic perspective and something comparable that has already been placed as a historical movement and a historical data point. Okay? Again, found this. I talked to you guys about this in the live stream. I found this 15 minutes prior to going live today. I was just doing some charting and some searching, looking for some sort of downside move prior to a good rip, and something that made sense, right, as far as where it was, what it looked like prior to, what it looked like post the move, and what my expectations could potentially be if something like this were to happen. So just wanted to throw that out there real quick. Again, not to scare anybody, right? You shouldn't be scared. It's just to look and see what could potentially happen. But like I said, that's nothing that I'm even considering until this breaks down in its entirety. And that's just me personally. And this is what I do. So whether you like it, whether you don't like it, that's neither here nor there, right? You can say whatever you want to say about it. This is how I do things. So if that's not of interest to you, move along. And those that are interested in this, you know why I'm doing this. Okay? So I want to keep that. And it's for me as well. I got my money in this shit too. And I want to know. And I want to be ready if something happens. And I've told you guys from day one, my life motto has been be prepared for everything and surprised by nothing. And the only way to do that is to visualize, however, by any means necessary. And if that means seeking out matching fractals, then that's what it means, right? But by visualizing it, by acknowledging it, and by realizing that reality is anything it could be. So that's what I'm doing. Just throwing that out there. I will dive more into that with you guys if that becomes something that is needed or that I feel I need to do for me. I will share that with you, right? And dive into that in its entirety. But I brought it up today to you guys. You were asking about it adamantly, so I wanted to include that here in the end of the video for you. So if you made it that far, you got that. Other than that, real quick refresh. In my opinion, we're looking good. This is played out exactly like I've been talking about. The two macro fractals with the confluence hit. I would love to keep the energy up. I'm going to be kind of in and out of these emotional swings with what's going on right now with my family, but I would appreciate the continued support, the continued lifting up, the emotional rock being that you guys were for me today, and that would help me be able to forge through this a little bit. We got one more day left in the week. Tomorrow, we will be back live here like always, first thing in the morning at 9 a.m. for market open until market close. So that is what I got for this video, y'all. Again, thank you. If you would, do me a favor, like the video on your way out. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I don't know what y'all are waiting for. I would love to see that happen with everybody. If you're not, I know some things have been going on, and we talked about that in the last stream with views and subs and different things. So, yeah, let me know. If you guys are having any problems with notifications or anything like that, please let me know. I'm documenting all that. I've already talked to YouTube this morning. Please let me know about that so I can keep a list of it. I'm going to go ahead and give them one probably by the end of next week if it keeps happening. So other than that, I am going to let you guys go. Sorry the video is a little longer. 26 minutes is what it is. Got to get through this stuff. You are hopefully prepared for tomorrow, for everything. Nothing's going to be a surprise. It hasn't been. It won't be. And that's the way I like to do it. So I will see you guys in the live stream tomorrow. First thing, tomorrow morning, market open. Thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And I will talk to you all then. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your evening. Later.